What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Proof that single modern women are raising weak simp men. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
You're conditioning your son to believe, dream, and even his viewpoints on dating, like even financial literacy. What are some of those things that you're pouring into him on a daily?
Love.
Yeah,
I am leading with love. That's one thing that I know that our young black men need is love. And I know a lot of times we raise our men to be so strong and not really understand their emotions. And I'm so big on, how did that make you feel, baby? And even when he didn't know how to talk, it's like, how did that make you feel? Or I love you, come give mommy a kiss. So I definitely am raising him with so much love. I want him to know that he's loved, and I want him to know how to accept love. Right. A lot of times people don't know how to accept love, and that's a big deal. So it's like,
because they never received it.
All right, guys, so we have a panel of modern women here, and one of the women on the panel asked one of the mothers, who I'm assuming is a single mother, how are you raising your son? And she says, I am leading with love. And then she goes on to say, we raise our men up to be strong, our black men in specific. I beg to differ. First off, that I am leading with love is bullshit. Listen, I'm just calling it for what it is. It is a blanket statement. Love is such a twisted word. It's so twisted. What does that mean? We need concrete examples of what you mean by love. First off, you don't raise your son up with love, teaching him love. You need to raise your son up to be competent, to be able to take care of himself and possibly a family in the future. You need to raise him up to be a good discerner of character, to be honest, to be strong, right? This right here, what we're witnessing is how modern women, single mothers today raise weak men. And then she goes on to say, we raise our black men to be strong. No, today's black men, unfortunately, are not raised up to be strong. Many of them grow up in single mother households, and they're raised up to be emotional, which leads to an increased likelihood of that man ending up in jail, of that man impregnating a woman, emotional man, lack of self-control, etc. The majority of black men being raised up by women like this are not strong. They're weak. They're highly emotional. These women can barely control their sons. I'll tell you this, at this age, when he's young, she hasn't seen the result of what she's about to produce with the way that she's raising up her son. He's most likely young, very young. And over time, she will learn that she won't be able to control a man who she has not taught to have self-control, emotional discipline, etc. So no, black men today on average are not raised up to be strong men. They're raised up to be weak, emotional men. A lot of black men today are way too easily triggered. They are willing to throw their lives away over some beef. Right? Highly emotional. Why is that? Well, because they grow up in single mother households where they watch women solve their problems with yelling and screaming. But as a grown man, yelling and screaming, no one's going to feel safe around you with all that yelling and screaming. Men are more prone to violence. It's just who men are. So I've seen far too many black men, young black men, middle-aged men, even older men, who still have a problem of being able to control their emotions. And I can tell that those men were not raised by masculine men and most likely had a single mother. As always, the internet reacted and people left their comments. Let's see what the people had to say. All right, so the first comment comes from a woman and it says, I think if more women were not belittling when a man expresses himself, they would be more open to show more emotion. That's a word. That's true. She goes on to say, I see a lot of women on social media calling black men gay or soft, which is, they'll run to those insults whenever they disagree with you. If you aren't over here kissing modern women's feet, and in this conversation, we're specifically talking about black women, they're quick to call you gay, bro. Right? You must be gay because there's no way you're not kissing my feet and supporting that female agenda. She goes on to say, when they show us anything that's not masculine to them, so I can't imagine why they would willingly put their emotions out there to get talked about or have it shown in their face later. But that's just what I see. And this got 3K plus likes, almost 4,000 likes. Another person here commented and said, this is definitely the fault of the women. When a man shows emotions and feelings, he's considered soft, weak, and deemed not able to lead. Men can't be vulnerable because we're judged and scrutinized for opening up. That's why women will ultimately cheat. Women don't appreciate a man who is in tune with their feelings. Women need to be better receptive of men and respect their sensitivity. Yeah. Again, here's what's happening here is women are showing you over and over and over again is if you are a sensitive man who wants to express yourself and be in touch with your feminine side, they're showing you that they think that's weak. You can continue being that guy who women say that they want, but when you are that guy, they make fun of you, turn you down, belittle you. Or you could be the man who women truly respect. Now, I'm not saying that a man shouldn't be able to express himself, but I'm saying far too many people in this comment section, obviously, because the vast majority of people really don't understand this stuff. Far too many of them are going to say, well, when we're sensitive and when we open up, you guys don't treat us right. I'm not allowed to cry in front of a woman and I should be able to cry. It's never going to happen, bro. Stoicism is the way. These men, the majority of them who are emotional, have always been emotional. They're emotional with their mothers who said it's okay to cry. These men who are emotional were emotional with their mothers the majority of times who made them this way. And then they start dating and they realize that like these women don't find that attractive or acceptable. Again, don't mix this up with a man not being able to express himself. Because yes, a man should be able to express himself. And on the tip of a man showing emotion and him deemed not being able to lead, again, you should take women for what they show you, not what they say or how you want the world to work. But on that tip, we can't even get to the point where women accept that a man should take lead in a relationship. You can't even get to that point. These women are so far off. People are still fighting for women to do what they say or what they want. They're still fighting for this ideal dynamic where a man can be emotional and sensitive and a woman can also be emotional and sensitive and she's going to accept you for who you... It's not going to happen, bro. It's never happening. Accept it. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Next comment here from another man says, so we're taking advice from ex-strippers now? Damn, she's an ex-stripper. Had no idea. Laughing emojis. Black men, stop listening to women and live your lives. I had no idea the chick was an ex-stripper. That is crazy. Yeah, I just figured out the title of this video. He goes on to say there are plenty of other races of women that will value you for you. So this guy's like, hey, consider dating outside of your race. Next comment here from another person says, this narrative has to stop. Men do know how to show and receive love. Y'all see it all the time on how we love on our bros. Y'all just call it gay. What most men are not willing to do or have a hard time doing is fully being vulnerable with a woman, because the moment some shit hits the fan, y'all weaponize it. Yeah. Don't be completely vulnerable with a woman. Don't cry in front of a woman. If it happens, it will happen. I can promise you that life is difficult and will hit you so hard and will eventually hit you hard enough that you won't be able to hold back those tears. But men have to understand that their ability to control their emotions is a superpower. Don't view it as something that's negative. View it as a last line of defense. As in, you should be the last one to cry in your family, right? Your kids, children first, your wife second, you last. And if possible, not as old, because in most cases, that's what women find the most attractive. Women won't leave you if you cry over tragic death or, terrible situations. But if you're the first one to start shedding tears left and right, and listen, the guys who are highly emotional, they're typing right now with tears in their eyes. And like, no, what are you talking about? We have feelings too. Listen, man, you're angry for a reason because you know it's true. And I'm telling you right now, if you can exercise that muscle as a man to hold back those tears, I'll tell you what my dad said. He says, listen, if you need to cry, go in the bathroom, lock the door, and cry. When you come out, you deal with what needs to be dealt with. Even if your woman sees you with red eyes and she knows that you might have shed a tear, she respects the fact that you weren't bawling in front of her. And if you think you can change women and you want to do that, well, you're going to have to take that up with somebody else, because I didn't create them. I didn't make the rules. Next comment here says, I have work to do on myself. I think this is a guy. But in all honesty, in my experience, it's women that shut it out until they're starting to see they might be alone. Then all of a sudden, they want a guy to be nice. If you want to see the guy they wanted for their best years, just look at who their baby daddy is. And so what this guy is saying is like, listen, women are trying to raise up these emotionally available men because they never had those men. But it wasn't because those men weren't available to those women. It was because they didn't find those men attractive. That's what you have to realize. And they think by making that man emotionally aware and raising him up to be soft, that he'll be that guy that she wanted in her later years but couldn't find, right? She wants that side of the guy, the Pookie, Tyrone, which he never had, because she wants the both of both worlds. And she wants that in her son, not realizing that she's raising up the same guy. That's how you raise up a problem. That's how you raise up a guy who's out here who has multiple baby mamas, etc. Is a guy who can't control himself and lacks discipline. Next comment from another gentleman says, these kind of women only want hood dudes to be affectionate towards them. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Another comment here says, black men know how to love. Yeah, I don't, that whole thing of black men don't know how to love, don't buy that BS. Don't buy that BS. The problem is black men don't know how. The problem is black men don't have discipline. Black men don't know how to discern a good woman. Black men don't know how to control their emotions. Black men today are highly triggered and emotional because they're being raised up by single black mothers who think like the woman in this video. Next, final comment in this thread says, they don't want the love we have to give. Only their idea of love counts. Listen, guys, the first thing I'll tell any man to do is you've got to forget everything you've learned about love and relationships. Almost nearly everything you've learned, especially if you're raised by a single mother. You got to start from scratch. And the first thing I would tell every man is believe women for who they show you to be. Believe them, because men have a tendency to love women idealistically. We look through life. A lot of guys are blue pill, right? They look through life with these rose-colored lenses and want to believe that there's a soulmate out there for you. There's a woman out there who accepts you for who you are. And your mother will tell you these things. And the reason why a father is important is because he's lived life and he'll tell you what's real. Most men just need a clear reset of all this garbage and delusion that they're fed by modern women, right? Because like we all know, and like I've said many times, what women say they want is very different, often different from what they actually go after, what they're actually attracted to. Guys, as always, curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.